Okay, welcome to the main section of today's podcast, where I'm very delighted to bring on my guest, Eddy Smith. Welcome, Eddy Smith, to Music Fishbowl.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be here.
No, thank you for coming on the podcast. Really, really do appreciate it. Funny enough, I'll say something first before we start. I was at a gig. I was at Sarah Darling's gig at what's the venue on Denmark Street again? I've forgotten his name. The Lower Third, and I saw someone there who I was so convinced was you. I actually went up and said, Eddy, as in to introduce myself, and he was like, "No, no," as if it's not him. So I'll
We've
say
all
that
been
as a
there.
I'll say that as a as a preface to this interview, I guess. But Eddy, I'll ask you the first question I ask all my artists. Then sometimes an easier one, sometimes not so easy for some artists, depending on what they do. But yeah, just for those who don't know, what would you class your genre of music to be?
That's a very good question, and that changes weekly, I find. I'd say that we're like Americana, country blues, soul,
Yeah.
Americana, country blues, and soul. I think, yeah, is tends to sum it up, but still leaves people nice and confused afterwards, which is.
Well, that kind of makes sense because I host an Americana radio show on Islington Radio, and my show I say, welcome to the show, the Americana Fishbowl, Dan Wicks, where I play you the best of Americana, folk, country, blues, and everything in between, because it is a bit of an umbrella genre, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I feel like it's quite a modern day thing, like the Americana genre, because when we listen to artists now that we would consider to be Americana, say from like the 60s and 70s, it was just blanket like rock music or
Yeah,
folk music. And now
yeah,
it's a bit more like, well, what kind of rock, what kind of folk, what kind of country? So yeah,
yeah.
I guess the Americana name just sort of is perhaps an attempt to like embody all of that, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Definitely is. I also need to ask you as well. What music do you have currently out there for people to go and listen to? Because by now my intro's played and we've done 2 minutes here. I've already been given a stream, so people can now pause and go and listen to some music if they haven't heard of your music before, and then come back to the interview. So what's out there for people to go and listen to?
So what we released our first two EPs in 2019.
Hmm.
So they're available on Spotify and I think all the streaming platforms, called A Little Too Late, Parts 1 and Part 2. And in 2023, we released our debut album called Right Up Till Now.
Yeah.
And that is currently available to listen to. We did bring out a live single last year, which was recorded at one of our live shows in London at the Fiddler's
Mm.
Elbow.
Mm.
So that's available to listen to. It's a live version of one of our oldest songs called Middle of Nowhere. But yeah, if you search us on any like of your favorite music streaming platforms, will be our music is on there. So we have about 2 albums worth of music currently.
Yeah, definitely. There's loads out there, and I've been listening to it quite a lot since this was all put together, this interview. Weirdly enough, a couple of my friends have actually seen you live before. I just wasn't at those gigs when they did see you.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah.
it's on my list to come and see you live now. So definitely looking out for dates in London when you do come down. We'll talk
Yeah,
a bit
sure.
about the 507 and things like that in a minute, but I like to construct things in a chronological way. So I want to ask, what was playing in the household growing up when you were young? So we're talking about childhood here. What's the first things you were hearing musically around you?
It was country music. It was pure country music. It would have been like at the time, I guess it would have been considered modern country music,
Mm,
stadium country music. It was like a lot of
mm,
Garth Brooks,
yeah,
Alan Jackson, but there was also, I mean, my parents loved like classic country as well, like Patsy,
yeah,
Cline, Johnny Cash, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette.
mm,
Just all these like different styles of country music, and it was always playing. Weirdly,
mm,
that and ABBA a lot was
mm,
the other thing that they
yeah.
loved to do in the car or whatever. So, but yeah, mostly just country music all the
Is
time.
So it's really interesting because I obviously I speak to quite a lot of artists, and there's a number of times where I'll be speaking to like a heavy metal artist or someone completely in a different genre to what they say to that question. I'll be like, oh yeah, we listen to a lot of Motown music growing up, and then they're like a death metal artist or something like that. But
Yeah,
it's quite nice to hear there is a lineage from your childhood, then, isn't there?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost. kind of come full circle, because I think when I got a bit older and I started to take my own interest in music, I would then listen to like a lot of soul, Motown, blues, like rock and roll.
Mm,
I loved like the Rolling Stones, the Eagles, stuff like that. So yeah, and then now I've just got back into country music again,
yeah,
and it's funny how it does kind of come full circle. But then there's a lot of crossover in these genres as well. There's a lot of,
yeah.
you can hear the blues in country and in soul and in Motown and vice versa. So
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And you slightly answered my next question there in some ways, because I was going to ask when you sort of developed your own music taste and what you started getting into. Do you want to elaborate just a little bit more on that?
yeah, I mean, I remember seeing the video of Joe Cocker at Woodstock in
Mm,
was it 1969? I think it was. I forget
yeah,
the date.
69.
But I remember watching a video of his set on YouTube, and I think it was his cover of "With a Little Help from My Friends" by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to that, thinking that's how I want music to be all the time.
Mm,
I love how just the sound, the arrangement, like the backing
yeah.
vocal, the massive Hammond organ that's in there.
Yeah.
So I remember, yeah, watching that, thinking that had a huge impact on me. Um, and yeah, I mean, just that and that era of music, the 60s, 70s. I love that sound. And
Mm,
it's the sound that massively inspires what we do now as a band. Like it's very much that live sound
mm,
where it's almost like you're all just kind of in a room together
yeah.
and playing off of one another. It's like human made music, you know.
Yeah.
I love how it sounds, and I
Well,
always have, and I still do.
well, I guess that's part of human made music is, your music's so rootsy, and that is the bare bones and the bedrock of what music is, isn't it? Roots music made by human beings effectively, and it all stems from there, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think I know it's a stylistic thing, but for me, it's just there's nothing that sounds better than like a bunch of musicians playing together.
Yeah.
Um, and even if it's not in the same room, obviously, because recording now is very different. Everything needs to be quite isolated and crisp
Mm,
and clear. So even though we might be recording at different times or in different rooms, we're still very much playing with one another. Uh,
yeah.
which, yeah, I think it's the best way to record and to listen to music personally.
Well, talking about music and playing music, when did you first start playing an instrument, let's say, or when did you first start playing your own music? It might have been you might have started singing first, for all I know. But yeah, when did that start?
So I was 8 years old when
Hmm.
I started to play the piano. I was very, very lucky at the fact that my mum had piano lessons when she
Mm,
was young, and we, were fortunate enough to have an upright piano in the house
mm,
that she taught me on. It was kind of basic. I never did grades or anything. It was all very obviously like casual lessons
yeah.
because it's but but yeah, she taught me piano, which gave me a
Mm,
great uh, sort of head start in understanding how music works from 8 years old. And then I think when I was about 13, 14, I started to sing
mm,
and play a little bit of guitar as well. So I think, because when you're that age, you think, oh, what do girls like? Oh, girls like
mm.
singing. That's
Yeah.
what I want to do. And then you start doing that, and then and then as the years went
Yeah.
by, I just started to enjoy it for what it was. I love playing music, performing, writing it, all sorts. So yeah, so it was piano from 8 years old, and then guitar and singing from about 13,
Yeah.
14.
So it's the shallowness of the male ego, and I'm including myself in this. All of us male musicians, I think, go through that, don't we? At
Yeah,
one stage when
absolutely.
we're teenagers, there's that. Oh well, it's basically if P therefore Q, isn't it, or whatever the
Yeah,
saying is. If they like that, then they must like this. It's kind of what
yeah,
it is, isn't
yeah.
it? So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, no, definitely understand that. But I think every male musician at some point has been through that with, oh, what will someone who finds me attractive find me attractive for? I will do that.
Yeah,
So I think that's
absolutely.
definitely happened.
That's how your
Um,
13-year-old brain works, isn't it? That's
exactly, yeah, exactly the way. So moving on then, when did you start writing music and moving into the music industry yourself and performing and things like that live?
So I started writing when I was 15, because I did music GCSE, and one of
Hmm.
the assignments was to write a song.
Yeah.
So that would have been the first time that I started writing. And again, I really enjoyed the whole process of writing.
Mm.
Something that I love doing. And I guess I just carried on writing, and then I went. I would do like open mics and things like that, at pubs and stuff when I was 18, playing my own
Mm.
songs, and but I would always come away wanting to do better and to be better and to write better songs. So I started listening
Yeah.
to different artists. I mean, a huge inspiration for me as a songwriter is a guy called Amos Lee,
Mm.
who if he's quite big in the Americana
Yeah.
world, and he's written fantastic songs. Some of my favorite songs to
Yeah.
this day still have been written by him.
Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from artists like him, not just in songwriting, but also in playing as well. Like
Mm.
I love the keys arrangements on a lot of his songs. I think some of
Yeah.
the keys were actually recorded by Nora Jones,
Mm.
who's
Ah.
obviously like a super famous singer-songwriter herself, but she's also a
Yeah.
killer keys player. So I took a lot of inspiration from those albums, and then yeah, I think 2015 I went full time in music, which was basically kind of playing, pubs, clubs, weddings, things like that,
Yeah.
playing other people's music. But it gave me the time because I didn't have to sort of be working from like 9 a.m.
Mm.
until 6 p.m. every single day. It's like, well, now I have a bit more time to, in the daytime, to focus on songwriting and
Yeah.
writing songs and making records and doing all this kind of stuff. So yeah, so it took a few years, but we eventually started releasing music,
Yeah.
guys and I, and yeah, just not look back really. We just kind of we're still hustling.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's the thing, and I think a lot of musicians don't see how it is. You're right. It is a time thing, isn't it? A lot of musicians will try to just play their own music and subsidize their gigs and things like that. And it's like, well, there's other ways to make money in music, but you've still got the time to do your own thing because you're not working the 9 to 5 or
Yeah,
whatever hours you used to work. It's very much the case, isn't it?
absolutely. That's the way that I saw it. I would kind of I would leave for a gig at say like 6 or 7
Yeah.
p.m. in the evening, and I spent all day doing what I actually really love doing and want to make a career out
Yeah.
of. And so yeah, I guess that was kind of my strategy
Yeah.
to
No,
avoid a
makes
real
sense.
job.
Exactly. Well, it does make a lot of sense. And well, the next thing I want to ask about is how does this fit in then with the 507? Because obviously a lot of people, and as I said in my introduction before we started this interview, which I've already recorded, I said a lot of people will know you as Eddy Smith and the 507 as well.
Yeah.
How do they come into the picture?
So we all met at university. We all went to
Hmm.
the same uni, Kingston, and we were all studying music and music technology. Myself and Ash were studying music tech, which is like music production and recording, songwriting, stuff like that. And the other guys, Rick, Josh, and Will, were studying music, like music
Mm.
performance. And then, yeah, when we obviously knew each other already, we knew each other for a long time, and we'd all played together on and off in various different
Mm.
university projects. And then when university ended, we thought, well, let's just start a band. Let's
Mm.
keep on playing together. And originally, the aim was to start a function band, right, and just get
Mm.
these sort of wedding gigs and corporate gigs
Yeah.
and like that. But we actually found that we could do that ourselves, get
Mm.
the function gigs in other projects, and we decided that, well, let's actually put some original music together. And
Mm.
I just came in with some songs that I'd already written, and then we would just jam them basically. Like they would all come up with their own parts over these songs. We'd sort of learn them in the rehearsal room, and the best part about it was not long after we left university, they actually still let us use the studios for about a year or so after we left
Okay.
the rehearsal room. So we had a place to all go and practice and write. So yeah, quite. I feel like owe quite a lot to Kingston University actually for all of this, because yeah, so we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Kingston Uni. So
So I guess they see talent when they see it. Put it that way, I guess, because they wouldn't extend that kind of kindness to everyone, I doubt. So yeah, definitely
yeah,
very fortunate to have that and the space to do it. I guess we should probably also introduce the 507. So can you introduce the I'll say current members just in case there has been lineup changes, but I don't know if there has been. But who is in the
yeah.
507?
Well, it's kind of a collective at the minute. So we have obviously we have myself, we
Hmm.
have Josh Davies on the drums, we have Will Frandon on the bass guitar, Ricky O'Donnell on electric guitar,
Hmm.
and Ashley Webb on electric guitar and harmonica, and the guys all sing backing vocals as well.
Mm,
But we also, in the past, we've had Keshav Kanabar step in when our bassist has been
mm,
away. He stepped in on the bass guitar. And now we also have Greg Sheffield, who will step in quite often, either on the drums or the bass guitar if the drummer or
mm.
bassist is unavailable and Greg is available. So those guys, yeah, over the years have played a lot of shows with us. So yeah, they're absolutely more than due a mention as being members.
Yeah, no, definitely. They it's good to also ask, I guess, about the dynamic of Eddie Smith and the 507, because obviously your name is in the band name, let's say. So is I'm gonna make the assumption that all the songs predominantly come from your writing, I guess, and then their input is production style input, where they're putting in the musical accomplishments to your music. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the most part, most of the songs definitely come from me. And then I say once we get together in a room, the songs can change. They might have like input on, let's rather than go to this minor chord here, let's go to a
Mm,
major chord here instead. And then obviously they'll have their own inputs for guitar. I mean, there's a couple of occasions where I've already got the guitar parts in my head,
mm,
where I've gone, okay, this is how it should go, and unless they want to change it, then that obviously they can. But ultimately, yeah, the guys will just put on their own area of expertise. Like, I'm not a guitarist or a drummer or
yeah.
a bassist, so I have a very basic understanding of, like, this is
Mm,
how I hear it in my head. But ultimately, it's like, here's the song, this is the rough vibe, this is the
yeah.
kind of tempo and the groove. We'll start playing it together and we'll see what comes out. But we have actually had a few songwriting collaborations within the
Yeah.
band, which has been great, namely Lovesick, which came out on our last album.
Mm,
That was great because the Ashley Webb wrote all of the chords to the song. He
mm,
basically had this guitar part and chord progression to the whole thing.
yeah.
And then I just added lyrics and melody, and then
Mm,
obviously brought it together to the band. And then, the drummer added his part, the bassist added his bass line, and it just kind of comes together like that, really. So it's a collaboration, and the type of collaboration will change depending on the song. Or, there's a song coming up on the next album that was inspired by just a guitar part written by
mm,
O'Donnell. So it's just things like that. If someone comes to the table with an idea that I can then springboard off and take it and write a song with it, then
mm.
I guess, that is also that's a collaboration as well. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, I always think it's really important with collaboration, and I've been doing some collaboration lately myself with music I've got coming out next year, and it unlocks doors, doesn't it? Just unlocks doors.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's really surprising, the ideas that you can come away with. You can go into a
Mm,
room with absolutely nothing, and then you can leave with all these different ideas and think, and that's the
yeah.
beauty, especially writing with people who play different instruments to you. Like, I don't play the electric guitar
Yeah.
at all. So if someone could come up with something like a really cool riff that I wouldn't be able to
Mm,
come up with myself on the guitar, and then we can turn that into a song, that's amazing. In fact, I would like to explore songwriting collaborations more, even sort of going, with other singer-songwriters as well, and just seeing what we can come up with. I think it's a really interesting concept.
well, I want to talk about songwriting a bit actually next. In terms of your writing, is there what type of themes do you tend to write about? Do you gravitate towards some more than others, or just go where the wind goes? What do you seem to write about the most, or at
Uh,
all?
yeah, I think I just go where the wind goes. I like to write about things that I know about, my own
Mm,
personal experiences. But I also like to just make up, like, stories, tell a
yeah,
story, or give a song, almost like it's a film or a TV show, give it a
yeah,
start, middle, and an end. Say there's a song of ours called "The Ballad of Bobby Gray,"
yeah.
which was just a story I wrote, like a folklore song that's
Mm,
that's completely fictional, but I had a really good time writing it because I could be creative with it, and sort of try and keep the listener kind of enticed, by, like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
yeah.
What is this? Or, who is Bobby Gray? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, so I like to write about all different things, and I am conscious of the fact that I don't want an entire album of love songs,
Mm.
for example. I mean, I love songs. I think they're some of the best songs around, but I like to keep a bit of a variety in there. But honestly, yeah, it's whatever is inspiring me in the moment. If I
Yeah.
can turn it into a song, then I will. If it's a love song, so be it. If it's something completely different, then that's cool too.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned about, creating stories in songs about things that aren't necessarily from your life, etc. It's such a rich Americana tradition to do that, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like creating filmscapes with music, like that happens so much, doesn't it, in the genre?
yeah, no, I reckon so. And I think, I mean, if you do say compare it to films, it's like, I mean, my favorite film of all time is Jurassic Park. I mean, I'm pretty sure
Mm.
that didn't actually happen,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
someone had to write it and make it up.
Yeah,
So
exactly. No, exactly the case. Let's talk about the album that's out then, 2023, right up till now. Can you let us know how this album came to be and where it came from, essentially?
it was just a collection of songs that I'd been writing basically since we released the previous album. Um, and it took longer than anticipated because obviously COVID happened, and we recorded part of the album before COVID, and then obviously COVID struck, and then we
Mm,
couldn't record the rest of it for another
yeah.
couple of years. Um, so, but yeah, it was just that really. It was a bunch of songs that we had either written a long time ago and been playing for a couple of years
Yeah.
already. Some of them we never even gigged because we haven't had the chance to because of
Yeah.
COVID. So some of them were completely new as well. But we
Mm,
basically went into the studio and laid down the sort of the rhythm section. Basically,
mm,
went to Buffalo Studios in London. It's no longer there. I believe Buffalo has now moved. I want to say Yorkshire,
mm,
but we recorded it in London. And it was drums, bass, and keys because they had like a real piano, a real
yeah.
Wurlitzer, a real Hammond, which I don't have access to.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was great to utilize that
Mm,
equipment. So we recorded the bare bones of it there, and then Rick and Ash and I, the two guitarists in the band, we
mm,
went to a place down in Chichester, and we recorded pretty much everything else: the guitars, the percussion, and we just basically stayed there for the best part of a week
mm,
and just worked on the album, and it was great fun because there were no time pressures. It wasn't like we were
mm,
in a recording studio and it's like, right, we've got to get 10
yeah.
songs in 3 hours. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, let's just take our time. Let's see. I think there was one day we didn't record anything. We just like went to the
Yeah.
club and like,
Yeah.
let loose a little bit. So, but yeah, no, it just kind of came together that way. And then as I will do for the next album as well, I mixed it myself,
Mhm.
and then sent it off to be mastered. And then, yeah, we just put the tracks out bit by bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's interesting to hear how you recorded that actually, because I was going to ask you literally directly about that, because the album does sound it sounds so much like a group of musicians just together in one place. But as you say, it kind of is that, but also it's separate as well. You've had to record parts separately, haven't you?
yes, yeah. So I say three of us were in a room together recording it,
Mm,
but the guitars and the percussion, the vocals and everything, that was all
yeah.
done separately, completely separately. But I think that it's still very live sounding because we
Yeah.
are just basically playing. We're still playing to each other. I mean, okay,
Mm,
well the drums were recorded 2 weeks ago, but the guitars are
yeah.
then playing to those drums, in the same way. So I do think it still has that live sound, which is not something that we'd want to lose ever. Because
No.
as I was saying earlier, that's what I love about music. I love the little nuances of human beings playing
Yeah,
instruments.
it definitely does have that, and yeah, that's why in some ways I'm almost shocked that it is recorded separately, but I'm not shocked because I know what modern recording techniques are like. It's
Yeah,
it's we all know how music is recorded nowadays, but yeah, it does just sound all like a group of musicians in a room together, and it sounds fantastic. And there's a couple of songs on the record that I want to ask about as well. These are the two that I've saved to my playlist because they are my favorite songs of the two. One of them actually just happens to be your most streamed song as well.
oh
And this
yeah,
song's got over 1 million streams, I believe, as
right,
well.
yeah,
Fantastic, and that's Lovesick. Can
yeah.
you tell us more about what that song's all about and any interesting stories around its recording or anything like that as well?
I mean, that was one of those love songs that I was talking
Mm,
about earlier. that it's a song from experience. You know, I mean, at the
Mm.
time I wrote it, I wasn't going through anything like that,
Yeah.
but it was something that I had been through years before,
Yeah.
many times, right? Like as
Mm.
most of us are, especially when you're young, and then you fall in love, and then
Yeah.
you're heartbroken, and you know, you're just kind of wondering like where sometimes people will leave you wondering where you stand with them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the song is about. It's a heartbreak song, and it's a
Yeah.
song sort of leaving somebody in the lurch, basically, and
Mm.
wondering, well, as like, are you coming back? Am I ever going to see you again? It's one of those songs, you know.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's a heartbreak song that I wrote from experiences I had years before.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got a feeling I might ask you about another love song potentially, especially given the name of this one. But I feel that this one, the production on it feels like it's just almost the most vulnerable song on the album, just because of how sparse it is, and it's lovely because of that.
Yeah,
And it's I Don't Remember Telling You I Loved You. I
yeah.
think that's a beautiful song. Can you tell us more about that one?
So that one was a fictional story. Again, it was
Mm,
just something that I thought would make a nice premise for a song,
mm,
right? Where you know how when people will drink alcohol and then
mm,
they feel confident, and it's often said that you say things that you truly mean, or you know, you can say things that
mm,
you truly mean when you're under the influence of alcohol. And I thought it would be a nice premise of a song where that you're sort of you're in love with somebody, but they're like your best friend, so you
mm.
would never tell them. And then you say you have one too many. You
Yeah.
confess your love to them, but the next day you have no recollection of it.
Yeah.
And then you say, "Well, I don't remember telling you that I loved you, but that doesn't mean that it isn't true."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was a nice premise for a song. And honestly, it was a very long time ago that I wrote it. That was one of the songs that I wrote pre-COVID.
Mm. Oh, right.
You record for a few years later. So,
Mm.
but but yeah, no, it was. I can't remember what inspired it now, but no, I'm glad you like the song though. Thank you.
No, I love that one. No, that's probably is my favorite song on the whole record. I absolutely adore that one.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, no, I want to say obviously a couple of years late, so it is belated, but congratulations on the record itself as well.
Thanks.
Right up till now, it's available to stream for those who are listening, and you can head off and stream that if you wish. I genuinely urge you to do so, as I did in my introduction before I brought Eddie onto the podcast. But we need to talk about a new record because there's one in the pipeline, isn't there? You've mentioned it a couple of times already.
There is one in the pipeline. Yeah, we are actively recording this record now. There are no dates set yet, but we will start bringing out singles, hopefully, kind of early-ish, or you know, mid next year at the latest.
Mm,
We'll start bringing singles out, but yeah, very excited about it. I'm very proud of it already so far.
mm.
Still a lot more work to do on it. We've got to book a lot more recording sessions.
Yeah.
But no, ultimately, I love what we've done so far. Yeah, very proud of it. Very excited to get it out.
So what can people expect from what's to come then? Is it more of the same, or we're getting obviously we're getting new songs, but is it going to be more of what we know from Eddie Smith and the 507, or is there going to be something new, or what can people expect from it without giving
Um,
too much away, obviously?
I think that there are some differences,
Mm,
absolutely, with this new album, but ultimately, it is going to be a mix of like Americana. There's a
yeah.
bit of folk. There's a bit of
Mm,
soul. There's a bit of blues. There's a bit of country and some rock and roll, and it's all just kind of being thrown into like this one big melting pot and just mixed together, much like the last album was. So
yeah.
there's one song that is particularly country that I'm very
Mm,
excited to get out because, like I said, I love country music, and I've always sort
yeah.
of shied away from it. Um, but well, from recording it, but this time I've just gone, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just write an in your face country song and see what people. There's two songs like that are like in your face country,
Mm,
which I'm quite excited to to get out just to see what people make of it. And then yeah, there's a bit more of like, I guess, like classic us, which is sort of rock
mm,
and roll, blues and soul.
yeah.
So there's something for everyone, I reckon, on the album. At least I hope there is.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there will be. I mean, there's something for everyone on the previous one. So as long as that mantra's kept to, then
Yeah,
yeah, definitely there will be. Actually, one more thing I do want to ask about the new record coming out, because I am appreciative that you probably can't say too much because it's still A, being recorded, but B, you also want to save a lot of this for when you do the rollout of the album as well.
sure.
But I do want to ask about the recording process again, because obviously this one's not being hampered by COVID. So are you more in the room together, or are you using the same process, or like how's it different to last time? Obviously, I
It's
know it's all being done in sort of a closer time period, though.
It is, yeah. It's a similar similar technique, similar recording
Mm,
technique. It is done slightly different this time, just because obviously because we're independent, we're not signed to a label. We are working to a budget, and so I'm trying to find a way to utilize everybody's individual skills,
mm,
um, whilst trying to keep everything sort of as cheap as possible. Just because making records is super expensive if you go the studio route, which we'd love to do if we had the money. I'd
yeah,
love to get the guys into a room and just hammer out an album in like a few
yeah,
weeks. But this time, what we've done is I've actually made the sort of demos of these songs, or skeleton tracks as I call them,
yeah,
where just from home using like programmed drums
yeah,
and bass and things like that. And then I basically sent these off to the drummer, who has
mm,
his own studio set up in his
yeah,
house. So he kind of then records the
mm.
drums over what I've done. And sorry, is the noise going to be on the in
No,
the
it should be
background as well?
fine.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it should be fine. I can't hear much at
Well, I
all,
can
so it should
stop
be
and
all right.
start again.
No,
If,
no, no, there's no issue. Carry
yeah,
on.
awesome.
You're good.
Um, where was I? Where to start?
Drummer recording in his own studio.
That's it. Yes. So the drummer records everything, his drum parts in his own studio, sends them
Yeah,
back to me, and then I basically wipe everything that I've already recorded,
yeah,
and then we just re-record everything to the drums.
yeah,
Um, so again, it's way more like live sounding that way.
yeah,
Keep everything sort of regimented to a click
yeah,
track. So yeah, so it's a similar way of doing it. Only this time the guitars are recording we're recording together in the same
yeah,
room. So
yeah.
yeah, so it's similar. There's separation, but it's still very much going to sound like human beings.
Yeah, like exactly like the previous record. So yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely know that it's going to sound absolutely lovely, just like that one. Yeah,
Thanks.
lots to look forward to then with that. Something I want to ask you as well before we get close to the end of our chat is because obviously you've I don't know if the gig's happened yet or is going to happen based on the time of when we're recording. But I know that you've been out with Sorrow Nation, who is an Americana artist that I absolutely adore, British artist like yourself. And there's no secret that I absolutely think she's wonderful. But yeah, I want to ask you about what you think of the British Americana scene, because it's definitely a growing scene, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's been growing for seemingly quite a few years now.
Mm,
You can tell that from when you go to the Americana music weeks in London, in Hackney.
mm,
It's just people seem to not be able to get enough of it, which is amazing. It's great to
yeah,
see such a great turnout for these artists that are like so deserving of
yeah,
success. But no, I think it's incredible. And I say, yeah, Sorrow Nation, I opened up for her a couple of weeks ago,
yeah,
and I stayed for the gig afterwards. And yeah, just lovely. I mean, lovely people, great
yeah,
band, great music. Um, just yeah, it was a privilege to open for her actually, and um, I think her songs are great, her band's great, and yeah, there are so many other artists as well under this Americana umbrella here in the UK that are just doing
yeah,
great things and writing incredible songs. And I would just love for some of them to just like make it to the big time, because you think you
yeah,
deserve to. Some of
yeah,
them, some of the songs that are coming out of these people and the records that they're making, you just think
yeah.
like, this is awesome. Like, how are even more people not
I
getting
know,
into how has
I
it taken
know.
long to become as popular as it has? So
Yeah, well, at least so far, the Wandering Hearts and
yeah,
obviously Remember Monday are
yes,
in that umbrella. I mean, you could say First Time Flyers are, and that's starting to
yeah,
gain some traction now. Like we
yeah,
are, we are getting some artists getting there. So soon,
absolutely.
I
I
think
love to
it's
see it.
about. We just need to get that American market to notice. Once they notice, it's there. Because I personally, for me, I think the scene that's in the UK now that can grow the quickest and can be the most successful right now for me is the Americana scene.
Yeah.
That's the one I think, because it's just a bubble that's waiting to have its moment, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
So yeah, I 100% really do think
Yeah.
that could
I'll be
potentially
keeping my
happen.
fingers crossed for that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That would be
no,
so cool.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say a huge thank you to you for coming on the podcast, Eddie. And
Oh, thank you
there's
for having
obviously
me.
lots to look forward to, especially with the new record, and loads of people to go and listen to as well, especially with, you know, with your last album right up till now. And yeah, I want, if you can, please let us know where people can find your social media and all your music, etc., where they can buy your music as well, because obviously we're not just about streaming here. There is physical media that, to be honest, helps artists even more. So yeah, let people know where they can do all of that.
Yeah, so it's just Eddy Smith Music, EDDY Smith Music, Instagram, Facebook, eddysmithmusic.com as well, where you can see all of our upcoming dates. Our shop is on there as well. So if you wanted to buy a CD, vinyl, t-shirt, or a hat or whatever, you can purchase all that on there as well. But yeah, I mean, feel free to send me a message if you want to know if we have any dates that aren't listed on the website. Say if you want to know if we're coming to a city or something like that near you, then yeah, I'm a very friendly person. I reply to as many messages as I can.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely. Perfect. Yeah, I'll put links in the description below for people as well. So if you don't want to scroll back and listen again, they're just down there for you. So it should be nice and easy. But as I say, Eddie, huge thank you for coming on to Music Fishbowl. We will wrap up quickly off the recording. And yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you for coming onto the podcast.
no, thank you for having me, Dan. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you.